Good morning, candidates. IDBI bank interview questions asked. Not now. Say this happened about a year or two back. Sir, my interview was on 5th August. They asked to introduce yourself, then family background, then asked any problem in posting in South, then asked nationalized bank and private bank, then again different between SBI and ICICI, again public sector bank. Why banks take deposit? I confused why they asked for. Why don't you join ICICI Bank? There are more opportunities. Again asked, why did I leave my previous job in Wipro? Then said, thank you, then you can leave now. But again they asked one question. What is different between mobile and internet banking? Then said, okay, thanks, Aman. Yeah. And this is the first slide. And the second slide is where this is the first slide. And I'm telling you the second one. The second one is coming. Right. This is the second one. Yeah. It's not appearing big. Why? I don't know. This one. Yeah. This one here. Questions that were asked to me about myself, why I am so late in getting job so far, as I have completed my graduation in 2012. They also made me write an application to the HR for getting later to get placement anywhere for the same. Few questions from my job experience as a teacher. How did I manage my time during my professional career? How a bank earns profit? What are the different types of accounts? Then RBI functions. Few questions from my subject, how to measure GDP. From banking section, I answered almost all questions with complete ease, as I have been through your banking awareness videos partially, but that was not enough to answer. Very good. Next slide is this one. Sir, my interview is over. I am very happy after my interview. This is my first interview, but I performed very well. They asked too much questions. First, they asked me what is the agreement and difference between contract and agreement, why we hire you, then Indian Contract Act and passed in which year. They asked about my hometown. They asked about receivable ratio and interest coverage ratio, many more. But overall, sir, it is very good. Panel is very cooperative. Sir, my interview is done. Three members in the panel. They asked only less questions, but they are deeply asked about my family details. Tell about yourself, about Mudra scheme, self-help groups, joint liability groups. Panel is very supportive. My interview is over today. It was good. They asked me the functions of RBI and how it regulates banks. What is bank and its services? Then why banking, though you are technical background? Then asked me questions from my engineering subjects, asked about family in details, like how many members, what your father does, source of family income. Then they wanted to know the reason of my state preference. I have given almost every questions correctly. They are very cooperative. I did not feel nervous as it was my second interview. Then next one, Anudeep interview. Today my interview got over in Bengaluru. It was good. Panelists were friendly. They only asked about personal questions. Some two banking questions. Most of the questions were asked from CV. We have given. Next one, Chandar Mogan interview. Sir, my interview is over. They did not ask anything related to banking. Questions from my personal life. Why banking? They asked what is KCC, Vipul interview. Sir, done with interview and mostly questions were asked about banking. What is banking? How bank earns? What is CASA, RAFA? What is repo, CRR, SLR, MCLR, base rate, plastic money? Then next one, what is fiat money, credit card versus pros and cons, digitization, good or bad? Then and some science question like Newton's law of gravity, some question my personal family. It was a good experience. Bhavani Shankar, hello sir, done with the interview. Question asked, what is banking? What is NPA? What is KCC? What are the facilities provided by bank? Personal questions relating to hobbies, family. What is cross selling? That is all a nice experience. Thanks for your advice. G2 interview. My interview is over, sir. They asked about PAN card and how banks help in boosting economy. The rest of the questions are all related to my personal life. And last question was Hindi aata hai kya? Rahul interview, sir. My interview is done now. Just like my Canara Bank interview, these guys also kept bugging me again and again why I wanted to leave a people touching and people centric company TCS. They gave me different stress scenarios in bank and how I would react to such situations. I could answer those questions and they were okay with it. I also explained to them how I could bring my skills, which I have developed in TCS, to the bank. But one panel member was not that convinced. There were three in the panel, and two of them felt good with my answers. Third one was only asking about TCS. Overall, no questions were asked to me by them regarding current affairs, banking affairs, or about IDBI. It was all about my current job and how I can benefit from my current job. Richa interview. Sir, my interview was all banking based. I am a commerce student. I guess that is why. They did not ask about my personal profile, nothing. Asked about what is the name of the manufacturing loan we give. I was not able to answer this. Asked about was about liquidity, then told but they seemed not convinced. Asked about nationalization, told them, asked about why current ratio, why current assets are more, told. Asked about CC limit, some questions I was able to answer, some I was not. Next one, Tulika interview. Interview was good. They asked me about inflation, MPC rates, Srimati Sushma Swaraj demise, deferred revenue expenditure, bank definition as per Banking Regulation, Negotiable Instruments Act definition. I replied almost every questions except the last one, but they give me positive remark. But at last they ask me weight of a chair that I can't reply. Overall, good experience. Thanks, sir. You helped a lot. Next one, Deepshika. My interview is over. At first, they asked, tell about yourself. Then most questions were from CV and personal questions. Why banking after engineering? What if you get a higher package job? I was selected in Indian Bank PGDBF program, but I did not join. So ask me why. Then types of account and what type of account I have and what is the interest rate. What are all the states where you don't want to get posted? Overall, the interview was good. Thank you very much, sir. Your videos helped a lot. Next one, yesterday I gave the interview. First question was to introduce yourself. Second question was related to one subject of my degree, and I was not able to answer that. But I told them that, sir, I passed out in 2016, and right now I am not able to recall those terms. Then one of the officers said, okay, Nikhil, no problem. Let's talk about banking terms. They asked about me six or seven questions banking like IBC, monetary policy, fiscal policy, etc. Then some current affairs, and I answered 90% questions correctly. And approximately 15 questions they asked, and I answered 13 out of that. hoping for the best, sir. They also asked about my personal life, about my family. Next, Mangesh Badod. I have done with my interview, sir. In banking terms, they asked me about IBC, balance of payment, negotiable instruments, other opinions based questions. Which newspaper you read? What is today's headlines? As I have written in my CV about good communication, leaderships, they asked me where I showcase these skills. I almost answered each and every questions they asked me about IDBI, about family background, and farming related option based questions. As I told them that my father is farmer, whether you will leave IDBI if you get a chance in other public sector bank. Overall, I am able to answer all questions they ask. Interview went for almost 15 minutes. Next, Siddhant Jain. First, they asked me to introduce, and as I told that my father is in LIC, they asked some questions from LIC. They asked about pros and cons online transaction, two, three questions like why banking and are you comfortable in traveling all over India? It was a short interview. Next, Mangesh, I think this one I've already read. Then 18th, Hemraj interview. My interview started with what is banking, bank and their functions, SLR, CRR, BC, RBI and their function. Then NPA, how to recover it, about family. Then some questions asked from my degree in post graduation. AAP, आपका बैंक क्यों ज्वाइन करना चाहते हो, क्वालिटी जो दूसरा में नहीं है. Interview went for almost 12 to 15 minutes. Next is Darpana interview. Introduce yourself, about family. Why banking? Why not UPSC and others? Since my graduation subjects were banking and finance, they asked about NPA, lending rates of bank, functions of bank, questions on accountancy. Next one, Sukanya. Sir, my interview was good when they asked a situation based question. I got stuck sometime and it affected my language flow a little. They asked nothing about banking and all. They asked about all my personal life, my graduation, school education, father's job, siblings, hobbies. But I felt myself a little bit tense during interview. They asked my marks in written test. I said 135.75. Akash interview, sir. My interview was very good. Your videos helped a lot. They asked normal banking questions like financial inclusion, financial literacy, inflation, KCC, NPA, and some questions on my BCom background like balance sheet and fiscal deficit. Altogether, it was very good. Thank you so much, sir. Expert Anil, Ajay interview. Thanks, sir, giving important guidance. My interview was also good. Question asked like CRR, SLR, Basel norms, repo rate, banking, ombudsman. Then 23 candidates, please listen to the questions. If it is related to your study, get to know. If it is related to banking, economy, current affairs, self, please search Google, find, frame the answers. I collected these questions from Facebook. How to crack bank interviews by Anil Agarwal. Thanks to G. Agarwal Ji. Thank you so much. Best wishes.